So, I want to shift if you guys got time and talk about because we've talked so much, you've talked about international, but also we've so many problems here domestically, and to me right now, the federal government they're not really interested either side. They're not interested in solving this or getting it resolved. Gary, you want to start?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is that this Saturday is November 1st, and the funding of food stamps, SNAP, and those other benefits are not in place. And you have 42 million Americans, one out of every eight Americans that are dependent upon their groceries from the federal government. Now, that fact alone is just astounding to me. How we live in a country where one out of every eight people eat due to the grace of the government. That's wrong on so many levels. Uh, I think it started out as a safety net, but it became a hammock along the way where people gamed the system. They get Section 8 housing, covers their rent. They get Medicaid for their medical bills. They get food stamps. They get WIC for milk for their babies. And we've just incentivized people to stay at home. Now, Trump's done something really good with this modification where he's requiring able-bodied people to either work or study 20 hours a week. That's a really good step. Of course, the Democrats are fighting that with tooth and nail. But we could have a disaster. I've been watching the videos of people that are going to lose food stamps possibly Saturday. By the way, some states are stepping in and going to use state funds, but more than half the states don't have any money to step in. Texas has a, a fund of over $20 billion. We've been a real fiscally responsible state. We'll probably step in and cover the food stamp funding until the thing gets resolved. But Illinois and I'm sure Minnesota and probably California they're just broke. So what's going to happen when 42 million people are angry? And as I said, I've been watching the videos. They're telling us they're going to go into Walmart, they're going to fill their baskets up, and they're going to walk out. Now, we saw that on a limited basis a few years ago when the internet went down and people's SNAP cards didn't work. And I hate to say it, but it's mostly minority communities. We have entitled these people. You see people who believe that we owe it to them, that those of us that work and pay taxes are their caregivers, and so we have created multiple generations of people that don't have an expectation; they have an entitlement to being fed, and so when I came up with the five stages of entitlement a few years ago. When you first begin to help somebody, they're surprised, maybe appreciative, and then when you continue to help them, they expect it, and then as you continue to give to someone, and think about this in your own life, who you've helped. The third stage is they become dependent on it. The fourth stage is they become entitled to it, and then when you take it away, the fifth and final stage is anger. We're about to see the fifth stage of dependency and entitlement, maybe starting this Saturday, with millions of angry people going to grocery stores and taking what they believe belongs to them. This is a huge event, and I don't see anything in the works this week where something's going to be passed to provide this funding. I think we all need to be really prepared this weekend, particularly if you live in those blue states that are broke, for violence. I would go to the grocery store this week. I would avoid the grocery store after Saturday for a while. because I think we have the potential for, and you know, the elite want civil war because out of chaos you create order, their order, right? And so the elite, I believe, want to see violence this weekend. You know, they've tried it with Antifa, although that's cooled off, thank goodness. But we have an event this weekend that could be very dangerous for people. And I don't see anybody successfully intervening to avoid this happening.
Do you guys think though? Because I've always I felt they don't want these elite or the government does not want they don't want the pitchforks being turned on them. They'd rather we focus on each other, right? Civil war within the people. So I wonder if they'll get like a late night, last minute deal done to avoid this because they don't want to become the targets.
Well, you see, I think it depends on, look, the shutdown, as I understand it, is a Democrat operation. And they're doing it in order to just prevent Trump from being able to pursue his agenda. If the government's shut down and it's not functioning, they see this as a constraint on Trump's agenda. Um, so the question is, who gets blamed? Do the people on food stamps know that it's the Democrats that have shut down the government? If they do, then the Democrats are committing hara-kiri. They're killing themselves. If they don't, and the Democrats can use the media to blame Trump, then it serves the Democrats' interests. And I don't know how the Democrats are viewing this. I don't know whether they think they'll be held accountable because they're the ones responsible for the shutdown, or whether they'll be able to shift all the blame on Trump. And if that's the case, they won't make a deal. So um, we'll just have to see. I think Gary did make an important point that the situation could actually result in something like the Antifa Black Lives Matter rampage through so many cities' business districts. Uh, we could see some uh, open, widespread theft because they won't see it as theft. It's theirs, and somebody's not giving it to them. So that's the whole that's the whole danger. What I find so astonishing, if you think about 1/8 of the population, 42 million people can't provide their own upkeep. Well, I mean, that's more than 1/8 of the population, isn't it? Let's see, if we have 350 million people, we take 42 as 50, that's one, two, three, four, five. Well, yeah, that's about 1/8. That's a huge sum of money for people. 42 million Americans can't provide for themselves. This is a this is extraordinary. And when you see people with food stamps, they're always overweight.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're starving. Clearly, they're not eating the right stuff.
Yep.
So I don't know. We don't know. We'll know. We'll see what happens. It's. I think Trump has taken refuge in foreign affairs uh, from the frustration of dealing with the situation here because the federal district courts are constantly issuing injunctions. And so he can't do anything until the appeals court rules or the whole court or something has to happen. And so, he's everywhere. He's in he's in Israel, he's in China, he's in Asia, he's in Europe, he's somewhere all the time. And the main um, the main news is he's addressing foreign affairs, negotiations with foreigners, tariffs, wars, all of this. And so it's sort of like he's frustrated. He can't get anywhere with his agenda here. So he's outside dealing with foreign things and not dealing with them very well. When a man gets frustrated, his judgment gets worse. And I think Trump is frustrated um, and he's in a hurry. And this is not uh, conducive of exercising good judgment.